Welcome to Co-Play Media, a look inside the world of video games, anime, and the Blerd community. And now, here are your hosts, Diers and Demo.
And welcome to Co-Play Media. Today we got a very special guest, you know what I'm saying? I feel as if we're gonna learn a lot. This is gonna be fantastic. I would like to introduce the great Audra Lynn Anderson.
Oh, he used my middle.
I gotta do the whole thing. I'm sorry. I just love doing the whole thing. This is so exciting for me. Having somebody from Nike, like Nike North America Tech Ops. I'm a techie guy myself. Yeah. And I am sure that there's gonna be a lot of questions. Mine are all the tech questions. So I am like way down at the bottom. But it is so great to have you here today. How you doing, Audra?
Well, thank you. And thank you for having me first off. Yeah. I appreciate it. It's definitely an honor to be asked on somebody's podcast. And I appreciate it.
Of course. You're important.
Super important.
Shoot.
Thank you.
When Andre told me about it, I was like, we got somebody from Nike? We got Nike in the house? We got Nike that we made it. We made it. This is it.
I was like, dog. I was like, how you feel about this, man? We got to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, because I've seen a couple of your podcasts and they don't have this content we're going to talk about today.
Right. So it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because we were talking and I was like, dude, we got to open it up a bit, man. We know too many interesting people. We gotta open up Pandora's box going forward. Yeah. Like we can't box ourselves in. We're too big for that, man.
He's absolutely right. And ever since we started doing it, I think it's been awesome. Like the range of guests that we're starting to get is so diverse. And I think that people need to see the future of possibilities. You know, like if you don't see that it's possible, it doesn't even become a thing that you want. Like I remember I never really wanted stuff until I could actually see that it was possible to have things. So I think it's awesome. And first and foremost, where are you from?
Philadelphia, baby. Philadelphia.
Hey, Philly, girl. Philly in the building.
Philly in the house. That's right. Born and raised, and I'm back in Philly now. I lived in Tennessee for quite a while, and finally made my way back home. And I still go back and forth to Tennessee because that's where I'm located in Nike books.
Okay.
So from a Nike perspective, my call center is what they call it is Memphis, Tennessee. But when I was promoted, I was given the opportunity COVID provided a lot of opportunities to work from anywhere.
Yep.
And so when they said, yes, and when they said, okay, we want you to do this job. Do you want it? I said, yeah, but I also want to go home.
Okay.
And they were like, well, we can't put it on the books, but you could do whatever you want to do as far as where you want.
Do whatever you got to do. Just do the job.
As long as the job gets done, there's no complaints.
Period.
I think a lot of companies did that. I think a guy at my job works in Florida from time to time.
Yeah. Nike is, you got to think Nike is 70,000 people around the world. And a lot of them are working from home. Because when you think about other countries, you think about China, Europe's still on lockdown. China still has major COVID restrictions. I think only Americans think that we're the only ones impacted by COVID.
We just think about ourselves. Yeah.
Oh, COVID has really highlighted some issues in America. But anyway, COVID is everywhere. And as a result of that, we actually had a return to work plan that was supposed to be implemented in January 10th. However, those that were not working on site are still working from home because of COVID. I never worked from home because I'm considered frontline. So because I am considered frontline technology, so that means we touch stuff, right? My entire team across North America is out in the field, in the distribution centers, or at corporate headquarters or showrooms or places like that where we have to touch the equipment and we have to touch the servers. We have to make sure that the stores are up and running. If they have any issues with software, hardware, we got to go into the store. So Nike's considered frontline technology team.
Oh, I love this part. So I'm in service operations, right? My main goal is to make sure stuff is working. Are you pretty much, when you're director of Nike North America Tech Ops, so is that like, is that similar, technical operations, making sure servers are working? I would think so. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
I would say so. That's what it sounds like.
You're hiring? What's up? What's good?
First of all, yes.
Really?
Really? Yes, we are. We could definitely talk about that. If you're serious about it, we can have a conversation.
Dope.
We're hiring a lot. So
I am. That would be awesome.
But now we need to talk about what you want to do. Because if you want to stay where you are, you need one of the work from home jobs. So you couldn't work for me. My jobs are all hands on. You either have to be you could be in Pennsylvania. We have a location in Pennsylvania. You could be in New York. You could be potentially in Atlanta or LA or Memphis even. But I don't recommend that for anybody who's from up north. What else?
I was about to ask, how was that being from Philly and working in Tennessee? That's a big difference.
Huge.
That's a huge difference.
I'll say this. I am a city girl, 100%. And I never adjusted to the country living. I never adjusted. As long as I was there, I never adjusted because my whole family's in Philly. So, Dre, I was going back and forth. Even when I was there permanently, I was going back and forth regularly because that's home, right? Yep. So no, I never adjusted to Memphis. And people say all the time, well, you were there for so long, you're a Memphian. No, the hell I'm not. Not only that, I don't even identify with the people here. It's a totally different culture.
Yeah.
Totally different culture. And I lived in Atlanta prior to Memphis, and even Atlanta and Memphis are totally, like, I would go back to Atlanta before I went back.
Yeah.
Before I decided to stay in Memphis, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like Atlanta's more fast-paced that's one of the more fast-paced Southern places you'll ever find.
More progressive, more parties, more social stuff, more.
My post-college days was in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for 8 years before I moved to Memphis.
Oh, me too. I lived in Atlanta for about like 8 or 10 years. I went up to school up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I did a year at Spelman.
You went to Spelman?
For a year.
Hey, so why'd you leave? Why'd you leave? There's always a good story. About why they left. Why'd you leave?
I can't be around all the Black women.
There you go.
I was waiting for it.
It was honestly, it was such a horrible experience for me.
Wow.
That I was constantly ready to fight.
Really?
No, I'm from Philadelphia, okay? And I'm mixing with a whole bunch of women from all over the United States.
I don't want to use the word sedity, but I married CAU. You know what I'm saying? Like I married Clark. I'm not going to say.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. All right. So long story short, Spelman women are way more sedity than Clark. I would have preferred, if I had went to Clark, I probably would have stayed in Atlanta the whole time. Mm-hmm. But I went to Spelman because I'm following some of my best friends. And, Spelman was, you got to go to Spelman, be a Spelman woman, yada, yada, yada. Well, I can tell you, as soon as I got down there, day one, I was like, what the hell? It's girls my age. And at the time, you think 18, 19, you graduate high school, you go to college.
Yeah.
They were driving BMWs.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that life. I did not know life.
So Spelman is like, all those schools in that quad are like the prestigious Ivy League
bougie black people.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
I went to Eastern Shore and country as you can get. out there.
You went to the right
very
place.
Bougie, very bougie. Morehouse men really thought they were the ish. And of course, Spelman women thought they would. And I just didn't come from that background. A lot of people, I didn't have a hard life, but I didn't have no silver spoon either. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I think I'm probably very well rounded when it comes to being able to adapt to any situation. That was just what I couldn't adapt to. It was too bougie. And to this day, I can't deal with that type of person.
That type of energy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't have that energy. Because the reality is money is, if you have money, that's great. But money doesn't make you who you are. And that is where I think us as Black people have an issue.
I agree.
But we'll talk about that another day.
We believe, I want to talk about, we believe that money makes you, makes you classy. Money makes you a good person. We believe that money makes you.
It don't, man. I feel like when you came from like the bottom, that's where you get your character from. Right. I think that's what makes you likable as a person, is kind of being humble. Nothing was handed to you. You kind of work for everything. So you got an appreciation for the hard work of it versus like Audra was saying, you driving a BMW already. Shoot, I didn't have a car the first semester.
Yeah, me neither.
When I did, it was an old Hyundai Sonata.
Mine was a Ford Tempo.
I had a Camry, you know what I'm saying? I had an old beat up Camry.
I had a Ford Tempo.
I just needed to get back and forth. Yeah.
I didn't need AC. I just needed to make it there, And
it died right after school ended. Like, it did what it did, and I had to bid it farewell. I was like, you did good. You did.
Oh, you got to thank it for it. What it did for you. It got you where you needed to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think for me, when we talk about, African Americans and money, I get so disappointed because the reality is, in 1968, when I was born and Martin Luther King died, none of us had money. And wait, I take that back. If we did, we were sharing them amongst each other.
Yes. Exactly. It was a sense of community.
The community was so strong.
Yep.
The Black community was strong. And a lot of people, and we talk about Generation X versus Generation Z, right? So I'm Generation X and your children, Dre, are the Z. And the difference is we've been through 2 millennials. We've lived through 2 centuries. We were here when the internet started. We were here when social media started. We were here for the birth of hip hop. We have seen my generation, X, because we were in that middle sweet spot. We didn't get on social media till 2010. Okay. And now you have kids on social media at 5 years old.
It's ridiculous.
Okay? It's ridiculous. Like, I'll tell you a story about a baby was in a daggone, I was getting my nails done, and this lady had her baby there, and I'm talking baby and rocking, the little rocking thing. And the baby's rocking, right? And the baby starts whining. And I can't see the baby because the baby's, back is to me. The woman hands the baby the phone, and the baby got quiet.
Yeah.
I said, you know what?
Yeah.
That blew my mind.
Yeah.
Not because it's so unbelievable, but why does the baby even
understand? But what that is that's such good. What I think what people don't understand is that there's so much technology, and then there's so much psychology behind the technology, with the lights and the pretty colors and the immediate rewards for actions.
Don't get me started, man, because I feel like I've watched so many TikTok videos, and I've been on IG so much that I might have developed some form of ADHD as I got older, right? Like, it's so hard to focus because your phone is so accessible. Whereas back in the day, go outside, go ride your bike. looking at my kids now is like, dude, why? Like, how can I even fix this? Because
you can't.
It's hard. Because it's the whole neighborhood, it's like the whole neighborhood.
Yes.
You throw them outside, they're gonna be the only ones outside. You can't.
No kids are outside. That's crazy that you say that. No kids are outside.
No kids are outside.
Do you?
Is
guys
that not the crazy thing?
It doesn't make any sense. Like my whole childhood was based around the whole going around the neighborhood, getting the kids together, rally up the street football game, drinking out of the water hose. Like if you lucky, your parents might bring out some snacks for you and the other kids or something like that. Like,
right.
And
you'd be gone.
You was gone.
You can get lost when you were younger. Well, when we were younger.
Literally.
I got lost all the time and somehow
made it back.
I don't know if my mom knows that I was lost. You know what I'm saying?
She didn't care. She trusted that you would come back.
Right. But the crazy part about that, where we grew up, the neighborhood was kind of tight knit. So it's almost like we probably were okay because everybody kept track.
Yeah.
Like, if we didn't come back, your parents, grandparents can go outside like, hey, you seen Andre? Yeah, they went up to the basketball court about 5 minutes ago. It's like check-ins. And you don't even know it. But now, I can't ask my neighbor.
But you didn't go too far where you couldn't hear your mother call you, though.
Yes, I was.
Exactly.
I was miles away from home. I was miles away from home.
Miles away.
Audra, so just for context, do you know where Fort DuPont Park is in DC?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know where my grandmother's house is on 37th Street. Yes. We would be at Fort DuPont Park. That's how far away from home we would be at 8 years old. It's got to be 5 miles away.
Yes, at a minimum. Oh my God. Right?
That's what bikes are for. That's what bikes are for.
Bikes,
yes,
skateboards.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. But see, I had to get permission to get, so like for us, when we went outside, my mom literally said, you can go as far as you can hear me. Mm-hmm. And this is true story. This is a true story. You can go as far as you can hear. So the neighborhood, all of us kids, we literally was like at each other's house on steps. Like we would be congregated in one area, but today we might be down the street over here. We might be over there. But all of us could hear our parents call us. And we were also the generation that had to come in when street lights came.
Yeah.
So if you wasn't in the house when the street lights came on, you got that call. So when you said Audra Lynn, it was a whole internal thing going on.
You started flashing. Like I saw the belt.
Would say that when I was
coming.
She would say Audra Lynn. If she would say Audra Lynn, I was in trouble. So that's why I never. And a lot of my friends, my nickname is actually A-Lynn. A lot of my friends, close friends, call me A-Lynn a lot. Like that's really my nickname is A-Lynn. So, and it's because my mom used to call me Audra Lynn. And the story behind that was if I got called Audra Lynn, it was a problem. So as a kid, my friends all was like, okay, you A-Lynn now. So to this day, I'm A-Lynn. And even on my IG, I put I am Audra Lynn. And another story around that is my uncle. When he's no longer with me, but when I was younger, my uncle would ask me my name, and I would say Audra Anderson. When they would try to teach you where you live, I'm Audra Anderson. I live at 1805 Erland Road. Da 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 da. He's like, no. What's your name? Audra Anderson. No. What's your name? Audra Lynn Anderson. So it was that Lynn was a part of me, and I don't know how many people really use their middle name or really have a connection with their middle name, but I do because my parents were like, that's your full name. You're going to use it.
That is your whole name.
That is your name, Audra Lynn Anderson. So anyway, that's a story beside. That's a story beside.
That's a good story. That's a good story to say that you got in trouble a lot. That's what it was. Like she got
troublemaker.
The funny thing is, I didn't get in trouble. I didn't get in trouble a lot. I was sneaky. Okay. My mother, I was a latchkey kid. Okay.
Me too.
And my brother was young, and my brother is younger than me, 2 years younger than me. So we're right there. Long story short, I was at 12 years old. I was coming home. You know, we were told to stay in the house. You don't move, don't answer the door, all that good stuff at 12 years old. And I also was cooking dinner at 12 years old. Damn. But my mom, and my mom, when she would get home from work, we talked about naps earlier, she would go straight upstairs. She would take a nap for an hour.
Got to.
And then she would come down. Perfect. And then she would come down, and then we would sit around the table, eat dinner, you know, do the whole, how was your day? Da, da, da. But she came home, she did not stop. Like, don't pass go, don't collect 200. She went to sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep.
Yeah.
She went to sleep. And I had to have the dishes done. All my chores had to be done. So if any of that was not in place when she came home, that's when the order came out. Because she couldn't function. You know, she had to get that sleep, because you think about a single mom, you know, she had to drive an hour to work, an hour back, and she's trying to provide a good life. So the reason why I believe I'm successful, if we ever get to that, is because I'm disciplined. Simple as that. Discipline equals success.
Yep.
Period.
I mean,
discipline, organization, having a schedule. All those things that you learn as a child, those things are important when it comes to whether or not you're going to be successful. So if you as a child didn't like being on time, you didn't want to do your homework, you didn't like discipline, you didn't want to function. You didn't want to function if your mother told you to do something. As an adult, you're not successful.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee you.
Real.
I can guarantee you. I can guarantee you. And this is why. Me and my brother sat at the same table, was raised by the same woman.
All right, I can see the shade coming. As a little brother, I can see when the shade is coming. You know what I'm saying?
Hello? Not only was he a mama's boy, to this day, but he was not successful in anything. And this is my brother, and I love him, but I'm telling you, the difference between being successful and not being successful is discipline. And a lot of people don't believe that. And so this generation doesn't want to work because they're not disciplined. They believe, somebody's telling me to do something. Well, yes, you said you wanted to do this job.
Right.
I hired you because you said you wanted to do the job. Right. Now I'm telling you what you need to do on the job, and you don't want to listen. You don't want nobody telling you what to do. This generation, these 20-year-olds right now, I don't understand them at all. At all. Because
I gotta agree with you too.
It's the weirdest thing. So the Great Resignation. So there's two parts of the Great Resignation.
Yep.
There's the mothers and families who realized after being at home for 2 years that they could save money working from home.
Yes.
And so now they don't want to work. They don't want to work. They don't want to go into a job every day. That's a whole thing. And, I ain't got no problem with that. I just can't work from home all the time. I'm that disciplined that I need to go. I need to go do the work. I need to get out. I need to be out and doing work. I don't want to be sitting at home. When I'm at home, like I'm at home today, I actually work from home today because I had to get a package. I don't get nothing done when I'm at work. When I'm at home, I literally sit on the computer and do my meetings and I do email. But if I have a presentation or I have to do some crunching some numbers or anything that requires real thinking and structure, I need to be at work.
I gotta agree with you, Audra. Like my director, like during all of COVID, we're all working from home. I've been working from home these last 2 years. My man's still in the office with the fade, fully dressed in the suit. And he's the only one in the office, and he's in the office on these meetings telling us what to do. Oh,
you know why? It's the structure of it. So
I respect it.
Working from home, I started a new job working from home.
Oh, really?
Gangster.
How?
Yeah, I switched career fields and everything.
Gangster.
Probably one of the dumbest things I've ever done.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Here's the thing.
Why you say that? Okay.
Working from home, I don't know who anybody is. I can't put a face to any names. I don't know what anybody really does.
Ooh.
And it's been a year. I'm still figuring out who's who, right? So then you're trying to learn this new role because I switched career fields from program analyst to financial analyst, right?
Oh my.
So it's like, in theory, it sounded like it was a quick transition, but not really, because finance people don't think like a program person. So it's like, I'm at home with all the distractions, kids running around, homeschooling, trying to learn how to think like a finance person. So
how the hell are you doing that?
So now that the office is open back up, I actually have to go into work 2 days a week because I need to.
Good.
I have to.
Yes. And you know what's funny is a lot of Nike people are coming back. So they did do a hybrid, right? They said, okay, we're going to let you do 3 and 2. You don't have to come back for the full week, but 3 and 2. One of the reasons is collaboration.
Yes.
When you are, and Nike has built their whole brand off of partnering and collaboration.
I like that.
Okay. They partner with the athlete. They collaborate with other vendors and businesses to get what they need to do the work that they need to do to make the product. It's all about partnership in business. And honestly, I didn't learn that until I came to Nike. There's a lot of things I learned at Nike that I believe has taken me to the next level. Like when I got to Nike, I was hired on as a manager. Prior to that, I was a programmer, analyst. I wrote programs. I built sort of systems. You name it. When it came to programming, I did it. I was good at it, and I liked it. Then I was working on a project, and with a consultant firm at the other company that I was with before Nike, and that consultant company went over to Nike, and there was a project they were doing, or they had a position for a manager over technology operations. And he called me and said, hey, there's this open position. I think you would be great for it. Now, mind you, I had never been a leader before. Never led people. Led projects, yes. People, no. Totally different, as y'all already know. But it gets deep. And y'all asked me about the music business. I'll talk about that too. But anyway, long story short is when I came to Nike, I did not know what it meant to lead people. So when I say I probably took my career to the next level at Nike is because going from an individual contributor to a leader is a big transition.
It is.
And if you don't know what you're doing, you will stumble and fall from time to time. And I did. But at the end of the day, discipline, I'm not giving up. You know, I got coaching, executive coaching. Like sometimes we think we don't need help. We can do it all and we don't need help. I had 2 coaches. I still got 1. Not only that, I'm mentored by the VPs at Nike. Like they want to see me do well. So, you know, I'm meeting with them and we're talking. And then I'm mentoring people. It's a whole different world when you're in a leadership. It's a whole different world.
I agree. What'd you say, D?
I was going to say, could you tell me about an example of leadership? Because it's because you're in a technical role and you're a director, you know, I would just love to hear like an example of leadership, especially coming from like I used to manage people and now I'm more so in kind of an analyst role, you know, an analyst / sysadmin role. And, you know, I see different examples of leadership at work. And I would just like to see, you know, just a different example.
Okay, so there's leaders and there's bosses. 2 different things.
Yep.
A true leader who is also your quote unquote boss is not going to act the same way as someone who is just a boss. Meaning they're just giving you direction, telling you what to do every day, making sure that you're there at work, making sure that you punch your time clock. That's a boss. A leader is one that helps influence decisions. A leader is somebody who people want to follow. They want to know what this person is going to say or do. A leader is somebody who can give direction and also take criticism. A leader also is somebody who has empathy for the people that are working with them. And you can't lead somebody if you don't know what they're doing. So as a technology expert, if I didn't understand the technology that my team was using or Nike uses, then how am I going to lead people and direct people in that area?
Church.
People have said you can manage people. You don't have to know what they're doing to manage people. Well, that's true. That's a manager.
Yeah, that's a manager.
That's a boss.
Yeah.
A leader is somebody that absolutely understands what the hell they're talking about.
Yep.
And people want to listen because they have proven that what they're saying is fact. That's the difference between a leader.
That's dope.
Yep.
That's
so,
super dope.
I mean, when people ask me that question, I'm like, it's not as simple as you think it is. And I did not know it before I became a leader. I can call myself a leader now because I feel like I'm actually leading people, influencing decisions, helping people reach their full potential. Mm-hmm. Because a leader doesn't just do things for themselves. They help others reach their full potential because, quite frankly, if those people don't reach their full potential, you ain't going to reach yours.
Exactly.
Right? They gotta look good so you look good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They are a reflection of you.
If the players suck, you're a bad coach. You're a bad coach.
Basically.
I mean, and the thing is, this is the good. Okay, so we use sports analogies all the time. So think about, because with Nike, we use sports for everything. Yeah. I mean, with teams, coaches, athletes. So if you go to the store, the retail store, the individual contributors are called athletes. Their managers are called coaches. The head coach or the leader is called the head coach. Like, it's a whole team. Okay, that's how we refer to ourselves. So, and I'm considered a head coach if that's the case. You know, my title is senior director, but if I was in the retail, I would be like a head coach or a senior coach or something like that. Right.
That's fire.
So, when you think about leadership, you have to ask yourself, do you want to lead? Do you want people to follow you?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have something to offer to these people? Mm-hmm. Or are you just a boss? Are you just a body sitting here? Because quite frankly, at Nike, I can't be in this position if I wasn't developing my team. So let's go back to developing, leading, and coaching. My entire job. So one of the questions I think was, what's the life of a senior director?
Yeah.
Leading and coaching. Giving people direction, helping people see their potential. Now, I'll give you an example. I'm very detail-oriented and disciplined, right? So I know that there are certain things that leaders are going to come to me and ask me for. Mm-hmm. They want to ask me what my team capacity is. How many people do I need? How many tickets am I taking? How long does it take me to resolve those tickets? All of the data that surrounds how well my team is doing from a support perspective, we run reports. We have that automated so that we can do our work. As a leader, you want to make sure that your team has all the tools that they need so that when somebody asks them about their business, they can run a report and say, oh, this is what we did today. This is how we're doing it. So right now, because I just started this position, we're going through a transition where I'm having to create all of these reports for the different areas: retail, digital, distribution, launch. Launch is when we launch Jordan sneakers. That's considered the launch team. So I'm over launch, I'm over digital, I'm over retail. So each one of those pillars have KPIs that they have to meet. They have weekly reports that they have to do. But their everyday job is going out in the field and making sure that stuff is running, right? Yeah. And so they really don't have time to sit behind their desk and create reports and do stuff like that because they're trying to fix stuff most of the time.
Right.
So my goal as a leader is to make sure that everything is automated, documented, and we have a Confluence site. We call it Confluence. It's the actual software package where you go in and everything you need is at one touch. weekly reports, status reports, KPI reports, capacity reports, you name it, it's there. Somebody come to me and ask me what my team is doing. All I got to do is go to that site and give it to them. That is what leaders are supposed to do.
I need that.
It's awesome. Yeah, I was about to say you giving the right talk right there, because that's all things like, that's like the main things people be talking about. Like, I don't have the document to do this. How I'm supposed to do this.
Where's this data at?
You have to do it. So you have to do it up front. So, for example, if I ask my team, what is your capacity? What is your team's capacity? Capacity is how busy are you in an 8-hour day? Do you have enough work that fills up that entire 8 hours? Or do you only have enough work to fill up half of that, 4 hours? That's considered capacity. So, So based on how many hours someone is really working compared to what there should be working. So if they're only working 20 hours in a 40-hour week, they're at 50% capacity, which means they could take on more. So if my leaders don't know that, then they can't give that person more work. So the reason why these things are important is that in order to manage and lead a team, you have to know what people are doing. So all of this stuff has to be built and created so that it's an ongoing, it just happens through osmosis. We don't have to do this. We don't have fire drills every day. Our fire drills is getting the DC back up. Our fire drill is when a store shuts down because they can't trade. The POS system is down. Yep. We got to go into the store and we got to make sure that they can get back up. That's our real job. These reports and stuff, that needs to be automated. So what I did when I first started this role is I brought the team together. I said, here's all the things we're going to need. Let's get them done now. Let's do it now. Let's create the site. I had my admin create that site. I got the team working on it. So come June, we won't have to do that again. These are living documents that they'll just keep updating and we'll just keep turning them every month. We'll just say, okay, here's what we did.
I wish.
So they can do their work. They don't have to sit at the desk. They don't have to worry about it. They're not going to see me coming to them. Hey, I need this capacity report. I need it. No, I don't work like that.
Right.
So
I had a thought about that with the capacity talk. So I have a thing where it's like, I feel like if it takes, I don't know if it's just my position, but I feel like if it takes you 8 hours to actually do your work, that might be a problem, right? Because of the nature of the work, it's not really an 8-hour job because most of the time we're sitting in meetings and everything. Mm-hmm. But if it's taking you forever to do whatever you need to do in finance, like finding and crunching these numbers, I don't know, man. You're not being real efficient in my eyes.
Well, so I would look at that two ways because I'm an accountant. I went to school for accounting, so I know accounting as well. So woman of all trades, I do my own taxes and sometimes other people's. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. Now, I know, what don't I do? But that, again, I say Generation X, and I actually want to do a podcast about Generation X and what we're really doing, because I don't think people understand where we are in life, but we'll get to that in another day. Yeah. Long story short is, if in fact you're doing crunching numbers, because numbers can be something, there could be hidden things when you're crunching the numbers, when you do your taxes and that one thing is off and it tells you to go back and look at what makes it. So I will say in your field, Dre, it might take some time. Those numbers aren't easy to crunch, but it's going to take even longer if you don't know what you're doing, right. and even longer if you really are procrastinating. So somebody that's good at it, okay, me, I'm going to get all my work done in 4 hours. So I have 8 hours. So I have the other 4 to do.
I'm with you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Don't think like it. But some people don't think like that. And most jobs are designed to give people 8 hours to do their work, not necessarily because they need 8 hours.
Right.
The 8 hours that you have in a day. And trust and believe, I have this one manager. And I'm like, why you ain't at? I don't see you doing, like, he everywhere but where he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Where he's supposed to be.
Yep.
And I went to my director. I said, do you have a handle on this? Because this man is not doing his job because he's everywhere he's not supposed to be, meaning he's a manager and should be coaching his team. He's not even in the area. He sits right outside my office and I walk out like, where's Philip? So when it comes to terms, when I need stuff, I just, he always gotta, sir, you could have had it done because you had all this time.
Yep.
But I can tell you why you didn't get it done because you was never sitting at your desk long enough.
So, and I'm that guy with the numbers where I'm going to work at 6 a.m. because nobody's there. So then I can actually kind of lock in, right? I'm done by 11:30. so the rest of that time is like if we got meetings, and I got meetings every day, and I hate that crap.
You hate meetings?
I do not like daily meetings, man. Especially if a meeting doesn't last as long as they thought it would. And it's like, all right, we did 15 minutes. It lasted. I'm like, we could have sent an email.
I hate email.
You guys haven't started using like Slack or Jabber yet? You guys don't use Slack or Jabber yet?
Yeah, we use Slack.
Yeah, I like Slack.
We use Slack.
No, I'm in the government.
Yeah, I actually took me a minute. We ain't
doing nothing innovative like that, man. Everything's all antiquated and old.
I'm sure. In DC, no doubt.
Right. It's not good.
I mean, you at the heart of the government and still don't have what you need. That's what's so crazy.
Look, I was having problems finding pens. I was like, do we have a supply cabinet? They're like, we might need to start up a
GoFundMe for supplies.
Oh, God.
I'm like, are y'all kidding me? There's no cabinet in here, nowhere with supplies in it. It's crazy. But, the government, I don't know.
You got to jump in that private industry, man.
Yeah, well, so you guys asked, one of the questions was around the music industry. And I think I can tie this into the discipline conversation. Right. So when I was managing artists, it was about, 6 of them, okay? They weren't disciplined.
I know one of them wasn't.
That screams of a personal situation right there that I'm not going to ask any questions about.
Listen, I'm going to talk about it, man.
There's only one of them that was really disciplined. Actually, 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
But the one you're referring to, absolutely not. To this day, still is not disciplined. The thing about that, yeah, me too. The thing about that is, he's so good.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But here's the thing. I'm going to go back to discipline and organization. To be successful, what did I say at the beginning of this? To be successful
got to have it.
At what you're doing, you have to be disciplined. So music artists, the reason why it's hard to manage artists that aren't disciplined is because, and one of them is still out there just wilding, but I just let it go. If they're not disciplined, then they don't show up to video shoots on time.
Oh my God.
Studio recordings on time. This is real. And the one you know, he didn't show up. He was 4 hours late.
What? Listen.
4 hours late for a video shoot.
We're talking about my cousin Demarius. We're talking about my cousin Demarius. Love him to death. Most talented dude I know.
Yes.
He's the reason I started rapping in the first place. He didn't show up.
Yes.
I was trying to manage him for a little bit, and he didn't show up, and I was like, I guess I'll do it. Like,
hey, I can't want it for him. I can't want it for. I mean, me. I'm going to let you guys know right now. I looking at you two, I can tell that I'm the least disciplined one out of the group. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so coming from that perspective. I guess more of an artist, I'm somebody who runs on the joy, right? Like I run on the joy of doing it. You know what I'm saying? The spirit moves me and I love it and I can't stop. And I think that's also the reason why Your Cousin is so good. You know, it's released from those constraints of time, being places, you know.
Yes. Listen, let me tell you the history of artists. All right. When you think about the great artists, the Prince, the Michael Jacksons.
Yeah.
They were artists. They didn't care about time. They just wanted to create. They just wanted to be. And that's what artists do. Their brains are not programmed for discipline. They are actually not. They're only programmed to be creative.
Yeah.
Which is why they hire managers.
Yeah.
Which is why they have teams. Okay. So the artist is not, he or she cannot do all of that because their brains aren't capable. So they hire a manager like moi, and I give them the direction. I give them the lead. I tell them where to be, when to be, how to be. That's all. You just do that. Just be there and do your thing.
And you inspire them.
I will say this, and this is gonna make Dre laugh. When he showed up, it was great. It was great. He would lay that track down in, I don't know, maybe an hour.
I'm sure he did.
Meanwhile, we waited all day for you to come be on this track with these other two artists. Or
he was working with somebody.
Yes. You know, he has tracks with DAC. He has tracks with Rico. He has track with Rachel. We were doing, back then when we were doing that, we were really trying to become a conglomerate at the time. I had the best of the best raw talent.
That's fire.
Raw talent. And I still, to this day, have their CDs and programmed in my phone. And when I go, like when my music is playing and one of their songs come on, I'm still jamming to it.
Still jamming.
Still.
Yeah.
And because they were good. They are good.
Yeah.
None of them. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you about all of them and what happened. Okay. No, seriously, everybody has to make it in the music business. And let me tell you why the ones that I'm talking about did not make it in the music business.
Okay.
It wasn't because they aren't good. Okay. So if we talk about Damaris, the discipline, it's gonna throw him out the window all day long. Is he good? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Not only was he good, like when I first heard him rap, I was like, what? I gotta manage you. Like what? Right. He's that good. He's that good. Okay. My nephew Rico. The reason why he didn't make it is because he doesn't have a strong voice. He didn't have as strong as a voice as an R&B singer should have. But he's good and disciplined, and he plays the drums. He plays the piano. So you know, people that play the drums, piano, and instruments, they tend to sing some.
Yeah.
Which was him. And he also sang in the choir and church and everything. But you got to have a strong R&B voice to be able to make it in.
And then coming out, is he from Philly too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, Philly like the hot spot for the soul singers and
right. So needless to say, there's so many R&B artists in Philly, and he knows them all, and he's been on different records with them. So it wasn't for the lack of discipline or talent. Right. He just wasn't the one in 100 that gets to make it, right?
Gotcha.
Rachel.
Hey, I got a crush on her a little bit.
She has the voice, but not the discipline.
Okay.
And the diva. And she was a diva. So a lot of people didn't like working with her. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like this. You want to know what it was like dealing with these people?
It's hard.
People did not want to work with her because she was such a diva. She would also be late regularly.
Dang.
So all I'm saying is there's probably so many unsung heroes out there that can sing, artists that are great. But if you don't have financial backing, let's talk about that. If you don't have the money,
don't even waste your time. Like don't even try.
About to say that does make a difference. I'm fine.
You literally have to be found. If you don't have money, you have to be found because you can't pay for a manager. You can't pay for advertisement. You can't pay to get your music out there. You can't log on to Spotify and all these different apps to push your music because you don't have the money. So there's that. And most of my artists didn't have the money. Okay. I funded a lot of stuff for them.
Yeah,
trying to get them off the ground. But when I realized, not at all. Not at all. They were not drug dealers. And they did not have thousands of dollars to throw at me to help them. If they did, we probably would have got a little bit farther with Damaris and with DAC and probably Rachel if we had more money.
Yeah.
But, it takes money. And then it also takes, that one good song or that one hit, that breakout hit, And they just didn't never do that. But I loved it. I'm going to tell you, some of the best years was being in the studio, shooting the videos, doing all that because the reason why I got into it is because my entire family is into music. Like I said, my nephew played the drums and piano. He learned from his grandmother. My grandmother sung in the choir. My father was an opera singer in Philadelphia.
Oh, wow.
If you Google him, his name is Ralph Anderson. He sang opera in Philadelphia back in the day, obviously. Right. But he was an opera singer. So my whole life, I wanted to be in hip hop. I wanted to be a model. I wanted to do all of those things. I wanted to sing. I wanted to do all that. And quite frankly, my mother said, no, ma'am. You're going to college. You're not going to New York. I wanted to go to New York. When I graduated from high school, I said, I'm going to New York. I'm going to be a model. I'm going to sing. I'm going to do all that. I'm going to make it big. She said, no, ma'am.
You need to get
she said, no, you're not.
Education.
That's the difference. And that's the difference between Generation X and Generation Z. Because Generation Z's parents are saying, hey, go do whatever you want to do.
Right.
Yes, be creative. You ain't got to work for nobody. Okay.
So the problem, for one, just dabbling in the music and being in studio with artists and collaborating. I actually will be on a guy's mixtape on Saturday.
You're an artist too.
Yeah, but it's a vibe. Like going back to what you said, collaborating. When you collaborating with somebody and you creating, I feel like that energy between everybody in the room is what makes things beautiful, right?
Absolutely. What I'm going to do is the way that it normally is that we record the show. Normally we do it in the studio at DC Radio.
Y'all in this. Mm-hmm.
And, right now, because of COVID, we're still doing it remotely. So what I usually do is after this, I take this recorded session, I send it to Shane at DC Radio. He is going to take all the cursing and cut it down to an hour. And then he is going to put it out on dcradio.gov. And they also have a constant podcast streaming on DC Radio. And I'll send you the show. I'll send you a link from our social media that'll have it on there. And it has been such a pleasure having you on. I'm going to highlight all the nerdy stuff so that we can go straight into it next time. But could you just tell me, what do you have coming out in the future? What is, am I saying it right? Gambit Entertainment?
So GAM Entertainment is... GAM
Entertainment?
Yeah, so bottom line is everybody's kind of gone their own way, except for my nephew, who I still manage. But most of the artists, because we're talking, how long has it been, Jason? About 5, 6, 7 years now. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
And they've all done. I mean, Damaris is getting ready to get married. He just had a baby. He ain't thinking about the music, So a lot of it, he's so far removed, and it's okay because, which brings me to a point about the entertainment business. If you go into it thinking that you're going to get rich quick, you most times not going to make it because your mindset is not on that. And so my advice to artists really is have a stream of income and do the artistry when you're not working.
Right. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. If it becomes something more, great. If not,
you're not doing it for the money anyway. You're doing it for the love of the craft.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what happened to a couple of the artists that I was dealing with. And I would say Damaris is one of those that he was looking for that big moment, you know, and it just didn't happen. And so it defeated his spirit, I think, when it came to the music, and it didn't become, it stopped being fun for him for a minute, I think. Anyway.
Is there
happy? So I'm happy. All of them seem happy, you know, and that's all I could ever ask for, is that the people that I've ever been or come across are happy in life. Damaris and I still talk to this day. Every blue moon, we text each other and say hey. And of course I talked to Rachel and all of them, DAC. I mean, all I want to see them do is do well, and I'm here for all of them still. If they ever wanted to get back into it, they know they would call me. I know they would call me. They would probably try to make me get back into it. Dre still sends me stuff on a regular.
Yo, I love Dre's music.
I just be throwing stuff out there, you know.
I love it because it keeps me into that mindset. So anything coming up before I get ready to go?
Yeah.
I have 2 businesses that I started. So I always say that working for Nike is my day job, but for most of us, we want to have something of our own.
Yeah.
If we work for somebody else, that's to pay the bills and put food on the table.
Right.
But all of us want to have something of our own. So I am opening up a shop. I am also starting a trucking business, and it's a broker. So I'm brokering truckloads. So right now, because of COVID, it's exasperated the logistics industry, and there's too much work and not enough truckers. I mean, the amount of money to be made as a broker or in the logistics field right now is just ridiculous. So I went out and got my DOT. I got my MC number, my BOC, and I have a broker license. So now I can broker loads. And that's a side hustle.
So
we definitely got to talk about that.
Where can people find out about your trucking business if they want to apply, or where can folks reach you? What social media are you on that someone could?
So I would say if you want to reach me, go to LinkedIn. I'm not on social media like that. And Dre will tell you, I might post a picture here and there, but I'm not active on social media, so that's not where to get me. But LinkedIn is where the professionals go. So if you want to get me, I'm on LinkedIn. Send me a note. Just Audra Anderson on LinkedIn. It'll come right up. Especially if you put Nike in there, you can get me there. And I do answer my emails. I do answer emails, especially for people looking for jobs at Nike. If you actually apply for a job and you qualify for the job, I will send your resume to HR just because. So I do that type of stuff. And as far as my broker company, it's called Her Logistics. Her Logistics. We have a website, but it's still under construction. You'll see me on there, herlogistics.com. And then for the shop that I'm opening, I'm hesitant to say what kind of shop it is. Yeah. But that is in Portland. And I just won't go into too much detail about that.
Okay.
I'll talk to Dre about it.
We'll talk about that.
I'm interested. I don't know what it is, but I'm interested. Anything that you guys don't want to talk about on here, I am interested. So I'll let you guys know right now. But Audra, it's been such a pleasure. I can't wait to have you on here back again. I can't wait to have your team on here.
Let's try to do it in the summertime when I can actually drive down to DC and hang out with you all. And we can go have drinks afterwards or do something like that.
I'm about to say the studio might be open by then too.
We can get into the studio. That would be great. So
yes. Okay.
This is Co-Play Media. Our outro quote. The difference between the novice and the master is that a master has failed more times than a novice has ever tried. Koro Sensei. So with that being said, this is Co-Play Media, and we are out of here.
You've been listening to Co-Play Media with hosts Diers and Demo. For more information on Co-Play Media and the Blerd community, visit coplaymedia.com or the Co-Play Media page at dc.radio.gov.